Broadcasting live from the Schwebel room. Beat down Brown. Eddie B.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty. Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Tell the people more about the advantages of our product.
They never lose their cool.
Expand your mind. But I've got a better source of information.
Dirty.
Yeah. What's going on? Beat down Brown up in the house with my man ED209. Man,
What's happening?
I hope you ain't following the primary directive, man.
Not yet.
You ain't.
Not yet, man. You got 15 seconds to comply. But come on, man.
What's going on, y'all? Yeah, that's right. Dirty 30 back in here again. I'd like to thank all of the subscribers, all of the viewers, all the people that rock with us. As you can see, I'm doing something a little bit weird. One of our most adamant viewers just had a birthday today. Want to give a shout out to my niece, Gifted Ty. So happy birthday to you, baby. I hope you're kicking it real big.
Happy
All right.
birthday.
Now we're
All
going
right,
to get
man.
into business. Now we're going to get into business.
Let's get into it, man.
All right. We started last week. We was talking about this Hip Hop 50 with the Grammys. And, you know, we came to y'all, did it before we actually got to watch the show. And watched the show, and I will say I enjoyed it overall. It was a lot better and a lot more concise and complete than I thought it was going to be. It was Quest and everybody else involved followed the play card with making sure they involved everybody. And I will give a little bit of critique on that too. But I'll throw it back over to you, and then I'll go in with my little pinch of critique, and then go ahead.
Yeah, overall, dope ass show. Like I said, man, anytime I could see The Far Side, Diggable Planets, Poor Righteous Teachers, all on the same stage, Arrested Development, man, you know what I'm saying? You punched me in my heart. But yeah, it was a beautiful thing, man. But on the flip side, you know, after we watched and, you know, the dust has settled somewhat, we could talk about the people who were not there, the notables who were not there, such as, you know, our man who curated the show for the most part, Questlove, had reached out to MC Hammer to open the show. And I was like, oh shit, that would have been dope, you know. And then he said that Hammer was like, yeah, no, I'm damn near 60 years old and I don't want to be around, you know, I don't want to do the fakeness with my fellow artists, you know. So he declined that invite. And, you know, I'm realizing he's declined a lot of these celebrations. Now that I think about it, man, he's been a no-show for, you know, a minute. And he's the guy who put the money in the hip hop. You know, people don't want to give him the credit for that, but he's the one who went commercial big on a, you know, on a large scale. And for him to tap out, you know, there was no Jay-Z, there was no Snoop, there was no Dre, there was no who else was notably missing? KRS One, it was a lot of folks who declined to actually participate, but we could get into it a little bit deeper. You want to go ahead and jump into what Quest was saying about Hammer and how he respectfully declined the whole show.
Now, my one thing that I do want to hop on real quick and say where one good part is it's not often you see a show that kind of hides its hand with the people that are going to show up that you didn't know was there.
Right.
Because one, the Luke showing up.
Yeah.
We didn't see that happening.
Right.
And that was crazy. Honestly, outside of Jeezy and Dupree, we didn't know what they were going to do for the Down South celebration. So,
notably missing, sorry, Dungeon Family. But go ahead. Yeah.
And that's huge, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. The West Coast one was nice, and not knowing that Short, and we knew 40 was going to be there. We didn't know Short was going to be there. We knew
Quick.
Warren G was going to be there. We did not know that Quick was going
Quick
to be
was
there,
going to be there.
and that
No,
was fire.
another notable missing MC from the West, and it was in Inglewood. Mac 10 was not there. The Game
Yeah,
was not there. You know, it's like shit. You know, it's out west, and you don't. And all we got is Quick, Warren G, the Bay Area cats, and YG.
yeah.
You know,
No TDE at all.
oh man, like I said, we
It's,
we talked about this before. Like, dude, this thing could be like year long, but I get
and
they did the best that they could. You can't make people show up. But go ahead.
and after Shan talked and after Chris talked, and we'll get into that in a minute, it makes it make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then my worldwide celebration, that was the biggest fail to me. You got Akon and some
Yeah,
unknown
I thought it was
Afro
Michael. I thought it
what
was Michael Blackson,
yeah,
the
some
the
unknown
comedian. Yeah,
Afrobeat cat.
yeah,
It's like I said, there was no UK representation whatsoever.
right.
That was the biggest fail to me out of all of this. You got a ton of people because, like I said, we went as deep back as going into. You got Nina Cherry, you got Lady Dynamite, you got people that are going back way further. International, you could have wrapped Canada in the international. So then you got Cardinal and Fishhouse, Shot Claire, and all the rest of them in there. You, it
Yeah,
was, it was,
if y'all gonna put Glorilla and all them on there, you got to go with, like you said, Cardinal and what I guess they thought Moni Love was enough.
yeah, it's craziness
Right.
how poorly stuff was handled, and that
Again, we
oh,
don't know because, like, you know, stuff is steadily coming out about who declined. You know, I'm sure the net was cast pretty wide, but you know, overall, for them to put together a show that they did, I like I said, I don't want to say they really screwed up, and you know, without having this person, that person, now finding out that certain folks just respectfully declined. It was like, yeah, I can't fake now. You know, like, oh yeah, thank God I got invited to the Grammys. When before, you know, they will mail rappers their Grammys. You know, you
yeah.
weren't even allowed to participate. But go ahead, man.
All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna hit the 3 hot points because, like you said, Questlove talks about he wanted Hammer to open. Hammer said
Hmm.
no.
Hmm.
KRS said he was called, and he
Hmm.
said no.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, they didn't even bother to call Shan, and Shan spoke on it too.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and hit with this hammer real quick. Give me 1 second here. I bring this up. Boom.
But you ain't never heard me talk about no stories on nobody's platform. You ain't heard me go to none of these Hip Hop 50, and just for the record, I got invited to every one. But I really don't have the patience for the fakeness. I'm really, you know what I'm saying? I'm really 60 years old. So I can't really, I can't get with the fakeness of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do it with a young cat, but I can't come around old cats and still be pretending. What you want me to call you? 6-shooter, ex-6-shooter. Man, come on, man. Man, come on, man. Ain't none of your bodies turned up yet. I just can't do it. But I might get, I don't know, but Pac got me out here today. My first Hip Hop 50 event that I said yeah to, and the only one, is to come and say how much I love Pac, right?
So right there off top, Hammer is a polarizing character for a couple of
Hmm.
reasons. Because
Hmm.
one, you brought it up, that was the first rap superstar,
Yeah,
literally.
commercial. Yeah,
And it was weird because that was rap backlash on him. Said, you know, it's rap, it's not pop. Tribe Called Quest, Redman
right,
with his jokes, Third
right,
Base,
right,
everybody else,
right.
and Hammer standing on business, as the young folks say.
That part,
And
indeed.
Redman to tell you,
That
Third Base to tell you, everybody
that
else,
part.
they it made it real rough for him out there, and when they
Out
came out
west.
west, and it's like the one thing before I realized, because I looked at the show before I knew Hammer said no, and was looking,
Hmm.
it's like, how the fuck don't you have Hammer involved?
Right.
Because one, Grammy wins alone. He's had a huge amount of Grammy wins. But then outside of that, because no disrespect to, you know what I'm saying, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, they were big. But
Mhm.
Hammer
Hammer
was rivaling Michael Jackson at the time.
and bringing the culture with him.
Yeah.
And bringing the
And he
culture with him, and
brought
no
the
matter how
bang
you
with him.
no matter how much you disliked them and thought it was too corny, too commercial, the numbers don't lie. He did the numbers.
I'm gonna go there on it. Outside of lifestyle, okay?
Mhm,
Because outside of lifestyle, because we learned lifestyle, he was one of the realest there goes. He was Bay all day
mhm.
as far as the business goes. But outside of that, going back to just the realness of him, he held down Oakland. He
Yeah.
represented with all of his hometown homies and everything else.
Mhm.
He always put people on like that. It's almost the argument of where people say LeBron is corny, cheesy, or whatever,
Mhm.
but because he's clean,
That
is
was
it,
it. That was it.
and
He wasn't
that's
cussing,
yeah, it's
and
because because let's be honest about it, dog. When you go to the club, we love block music.
right.
I love KRS is one of my favorite MCs, if not it goes with that was basically my fave. Okay,
Right.
KRS, Most Def, all these types of cats. I'm a New York aesthetic TD, or you know what I'm saying, for the West Coast. I am a lyrical aesthetic cat. But guess what? When you go to the club, I can't go to the club and go get wild out.
With KRS-One,
Yeah, you know what I'm
y
saying?
y not a
Not
steady
after
set. Yeah.
yeah, not after 95.
D
Not after
yeah.
95, 98.
Yeah.
I'm be
We can't
love it.
yeah, we
But
love it, but
I'm not gonna get down
right,
and jump to that.
right.
Me and my wife can rock our head to it and like that. Whoop whoop, sound of
Yeah,
the police, love it. But Hammer, we can
yeah,
dance to.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Hammer was showing you was in the club sweating. Hammer was in the club sweating. That's where he came from.
Definition of
And
60-minute workout. That's all.
And
Yeah,
the biggest thing about it was Hammer was the first cat. NWA got along with everybody. Yeah, they was controversial, whatever. But
yeah,
even before the breakup, they was cool with all the East Coast cats. Ice-T was cool. He was a member of the Zulu Nation. He was
yeah.
cool with all the East Coast cats. So West Coast cats from that one, Spice One in the interview talked about, I bit part of my style from KRS One.
Mhm.
So with that being said, those West Coast cats got along. Hammer was not liked by the East Coast. He was the first cat to be like, he was the reason why the dog pound them could go kick over buildings in the video. Because remember when he did Turn This Mother Out? You ain't hitting the New York Hammer. What? I'm gonna
Right,
turn this mother out.
right,
He was up there, it's like, oh, I'm gonna tell y'all cats what's up. I'm gonna come to y'all hood and tell y'all,
and
F
turn it
y'all.
out. Yeah, and turn
I'm
it
gonna
out.
tell y'all F y'all without saying F y'all. When y'all cats dissing me and y'all coming to the West Coast, I'm gonna make it real uncomfortable for y'all.
And
And
such
have
and
cats
he
in your
did,
ear.
and now it's slowly coming out. This is before the internet era or whatever. You can't just post like Hammer done had this dude, in the closet. He didn't had his goons put this cat in check. You got the dudes who actually got pressed by Hammer's team coming out saying, "Look here, you don't want to mess with, Mr. Stanley
Exactly.
at all. He's that dude, not just out west. He's just that dude from Outcast to Redman to old boy from Third Base. They all got their stories about you do not test Mr. Stanley.
But and let's be honest, you wouldn't have gotten the Source Awards if it wasn't for Hammer. And I'm not talking about Suge and them. I'm talking about the fact that Andre had the boldness to say, I don't know what y'all think about, but the South got something to
It's
say.
something to say.
Because Hammer stood on it like, yo, I don't care. I ain't none of y'all homeboys, and y'all gotta listen to what's coming out the bag.
That's it.
He's up there's like, y'all gotta respect me. I'm here.
That's it.
So
And now
I
he get
think
his flowers later, and now it's like it's too little, too late. And like the man said, literally said, I can't deal with the fakeness. Him and Karis One both, respectfully declined, but for to me, two different reasons. Karis One was like, I'm not down with the Grammys, period.
and
And
I'm about to go to
okay,
that one right
all right,
now.
go ahead. We can
Okay.
segue over to that.
I was asked about 2 months ago. They asked me to do it, and I turned them down. with all due respect, LL Cool J himself called me, spoke to my wife, and pretty much begged for me to be on the show, but we turned him down. And reason being is because I know people don't understand this. And actually, let me get to the question of the S1Ws, but I'll say this into the record that I know people don't understand this. And I say this respectfully, like say don't understand this, meaning that KRS-One is a hip hop extremist. I'm not violent, violent extremist. No.
And this is the point here.
I'm insane with this culture. I know I must have lost my mind in this.
Yeah.
I don't fight. Yeah. I don't apologize for it. I recognize that my experience in this thing called hip hop is different from mostly everybody else's experience with hip hop. I restrict myself in a certain way. I discipline myself in a certain way because I know who I am in this culture. You're in the temple of hip hop. This is our home. This place, this institution can never side with come under.
Okay, it's acting stupid right now, so we just gonna go ahead and break it down. Basically, what he said is, with it being the case of whatever, and y'all see where I got the video from. That's off TikTok. It's over there. Just look at KRS Grammys, and it'll bring it up. But he said there was a lot of rappers there, but it's not hip hop. Hip hop is one. First of all, the culture. Then it's MCing, DJing, b-boying, graffiti. He's like, if you're and then doing the knowledge, like I said, the culture. He's like, I'm not gonna go somewhere where hip hop is exploited. He's like, that's not hip hop. And understanding how extreme his views are, a lot of people are kind of crapping on it and like, oh, that's so fake and that's so contrived. You just mad because they ain't looked out for you. They ain't checking for you. And he's like, no, dog. He's like, you didn't say 50 years of rap. And I got a pointer on that too. And we'll go into that in a little bit. He said, you said 50 years of hip hop.
Hip hop.
And so that goes into a lot of things. Me and a couple of my homeboys like that, we discuss music, we discuss sports and everything else. And when you look at stuff, when you talk about it's just like, the argument we used to have back in the day with Cass all the time, who's the best in the game, and Cass would talk about who sold what. And it's like, no. I'm not asking you who sold what. You talk about
two different questions.
Yeah, you ask
two questions.
Like, who's the dopest in the NFL? Who's the dopest in the NBA? Oh, Jordan got this many rings. Kobe got this many rings. It's like, no. I didn't ask you who won shit. I'm asking you who literally cooked cats, who fucked cats up. Because the fact of the matter is, you and I have discussed outside of this, the fact of the matter is, if they didn't shut him down, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf cooked Jordan every time and would mess around and kind of lock him up, but would cook him. But homeboy didn't get a chance to win because after his little protest, they's like, oh, you got to go.
You go. Yeah, you out of there.
You got to see the door. But as far as skills, that man had all the skills, but he'll never be recognized for the skills. And that's what we're talking about with hip hop.
Yeah, and KRS said he's an extremist to this and to his core.
He said you put a different label on it. You didn't say rap. If you said 50 years of rap, and even with that gets into some other stuff. And before I go to, I'm gonna throw up Shan real quick because it's crazy when you get Shan and KRS-One to agree on shit. Because if you know anything about hip hop, that is a beef that goes beyond whatever. Them cats, they get along.
Launch each other's career. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Right. But peep this. I'm seeing a lot of this. Is it wrong for artists to not show up at the Grammys and shit? Let me show you something, my niggas. Y'all, if you don't know, I helped pioneer.
Oh, come on, man.
We could streamline. We could talk about Shan. You know what he said.
He
We go
basically said, I agree with Chris. He's like, all these motherfuckers sit up there. He's like, year 49, he's like, it's almost year 51 now. He's like, it's not even 50 anymore. It's almost year
right.
51. He's like, and everybody all is like, oh, it's 50 years. Let's go get all these old school cats, bring them back. It's like, where was the calls before then? What was you fucking with us about before then?
Like
He's like,
Chris
and then,
said, he said y'all just started messing with us last year.
right.
Last year, y'all gave us our due. They're like, and now for the 50th, y'all all up on us. Y'all giving us a show. He had
And,
every right. He
and
pointed that
Shan's
out.
like, you think this is a good look. He's like, and for some people, this may be a good look. It may mean something for you. He's like, but as a whole, he's like, they're gonna come, dust you off, pull you out the closet,
Yep.
throw you and roll you up there, let you get looked at, and then pull it right back,
Pull you
and
right back.
nobody's gonna call again. And you got to figure out what else you're gonna do again. It doesn't work that way. And he's
Right.
like, nah, he's like, I agree with Chris. Fuck this shit. It's all bullshit. Like I said, if you get Shan and Chris agreeing,
You done fucked up. Yeah.
you done
You
fucked
done
up
fucked up.
because
Yeah.
it don't work like that.
And I didn't even look at that side of it. Why, there was a bunch of, because they put on a pretty good show, but I didn't look at who wasn't there. And sometimes you got to do that. And I saw and I was like, ooh. Well, again, like the kids say, these OGs are standing on business.
Yeah.
There's like, fuck that. This is who we are, and it's nothing new. And for those folks who saying ain't nobody checking for Chris, how do you know that? The man never stopped touring. He could do whatever he want when he want.
And
It's not like he's chasing a bag. Never has, never will, and he's comfortable. So
ex-
I hate that argument just because they're not on the charts right now. It's like, but you ain't checking for him. You don't know what the numbers he's doing or have done. Go
and
ahead.
the thing about it is you have to look at, once again, going to sports. You can't tell ESPN that covers all sports to tell you who was the nicest and who was the dopest in basketball. You have to go to a basketball grouping to tell you who
Mhm.
was nice and who was good in basketball. And then it has to be more so a combination between the coaches, excuse me,
But
thank you. Has to be a combination between coaches, players, people that participate with it that can truly tell you what's cracking. You
right.
can't just go by the fact of, oh, a bunch of sports writers tell you who's the nicest in basketball of all time,
That's not how that
everything,
go.
co-
Yeah.
college, playground, and everything else. No, it has to go into a concise grouping of people that actually, one, did it, two, understand the culture and can look at things other than what's there. There are certain people that it's just like you can't say hip hop without them being there. And I got my notes as always.
Go
It's like,
for it.
okay, so if we're going at it, Rap was born in 73, right? So
Mhm.
Rap being born in 73, the first rap record didn't hit till 1980. It was being done in the clubs and everything else, but Rapper's Delight was the first official rap record. We're not going to go with Herbie Hancock Rocket and all like that, which
Got you.
did get performed at the Grammys, but that was only with scratching. That wasn't with
Right.
rappers. That was with rap aesthetic. You know
There
what I'm
you go.
saying?
There you
We're
go.
not we're not even gonna go with Rapture with Blondie, which
Right. That
also
is so
that's
yeah.
not Fat Five Freddy was in the video, but Fat Five Freddy is a
What do you think?
cultural icon. He's an artist. And yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
go ahead.
And the fact of the matter was the raps that were being done was by a former punk rock artist that was going new wave. So
Yep.
we're not counting that. So the first rap record to be recorded, played on the radio is in 1980, Rapper's Delight. Okay. So even though most of them have passed on or whatever, Sugar Hill Gang still does NBA games and all like that. Sugar Hill
Mhm.
should have been up there on everything. Love them, hate them or not. That's
Yeah.
the first rap record.
Yeah.
Not
If you
saying
don't
it's
have
the first
Hammer
rap star.
open, you have them open,
Yeah,
and then you go on. Them, they didn't have, Grandmaster and the Furious, any of them,
the
none of
Cold
that.
Crush, the
The
Cold
Cold Crush,
Crush, and
an
everybody else doing the
any of
shows.
that. Yeah.
You,
But go ahead.
Kumo D, Cold Crush, Cold Crush, the Furious Five. You don't have either of them involved in that. That is
Right.
hip hop. That's first televised hip hop. Okay. I mean, you're not bringing out any of the old b-boy crews. This is where KRS is getting to it. You're not bringing out the people that brought hip hop because the dance brought it to the forefront before the music truly did. Because
Mhm.
were looking at the dance crews and putting them on TV because breakdancing is so wild. You're not
it wasn't like KRS One, graciously pointed out is that this wasn't a hip hop celebration. This was a
yeah,
rap celebration. Because if you, by definition, like you said, the essence, hip hop or DJing, b-boying, graffiti, the pillars, none of that was represented,
no,
except for Jeff. But that's Jeff. That was just one.
yeah.
That was part of the song. But go ahead.
So then the first rap Grammy was so late. It was 9 years after the first rap record. Jeff and Will, okay?
That's it.
That's in 1989. And it wasn't televised. The first televised rap Grammy is in 1990 with Young MC for Bust a Move on a record that he didn't even write. Tone Loc wrote it. No, excuse me. Young MC wrote his own record. He wrote Tone Loc's
With
record.
Loc stuff.
I
There you go.
apologize.
There
I
you
stand
go.
corrected. I corrected myself on that one.
In real
He did
time.
write his own record.
Yeah, in real
But
time. Go ahead.
but still, with that being the case, and shout out to the people that get in the comments that do correct stuff that we didn't hit.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all keep commenting. But with all that said, the first one wasn't until 1990, so that's now first time seeing a Grammy presented on TV is 10 years
10
after the
years
first
after.
record. So going with KRS's point to this is rap with rappers, this isn't hip hop, then in full honesty, 50 years is 7 years in the future. If we're going, it has 50 years hasn't happened yet because hip hop started in 73. And
Mhm.
yes, there was rap going on, but as far as for musical recognition, musical release,
Yeah.
then honestly, it doesn't really happen till 2030 from
Hey,
Rapper's Delight.
if we're gonna go by the exact dates,
Yeah.
carbon dated, officials, I really wish somebody like those who have the big major production studios would have held something like that. Like, I'm talking to you, Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm talking to, Jay-Z, who all these guys, Will Smith, who has these big production studios, put on our own official, for us, by us production. I'm sure you could get Quest and the rest of them and then curate a hell of a show. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Grammys. We don't need that title because they never wanted us.
But this is what we said about paid in full and all that other stuff, paid in full Grandmaster Awards. We need to get into the point, and this goes back to what I was saying. If you're going to say who's the nicest in something, basketball, football, or whatever,
Right.
you have to go to the governing body, create a governing body that embodies that. Because the fact of the matter is, I'll just say, come to the defense of people that are kind of crapping on Chris a little bit, like, oh, come on,
Mm.
man, whatever. It did take 50 years for them to do a special presentation show for the Beatles. So looking at another cultural icon, it was 50 years later for the Beatles to get one of these little side shows from the Grammy organization. But the
Yeah.
Grammy organization, because I was doing my research year by year, seeing who they brought out to perform, seeing who got awards for what, and everything else, right? And I
Mhm.
was looking at to show that they really don't rock with hip hop and rap like that because they don't. But it's like, and see where, like I told you before, why wasn't there a 25-year rap takeover show? Because the one huge thing about hip hop is compared to all the one, it's not a subgenre. So you can't say the grunge movement or
Right.
any other new
Right.
wave for, pop music or whatever, because those were subgenres. Rap is its own genre, and there's subgenres based off rap. But also, nothing like rap and hip hop changed the cultural zeitgeist to the point of where everything moved its way. Everything,
Yeah.
like I said, rap and hip hop is just like rock. For a minute, everything was rock and roll, right?
Right.
Everything was rock and roll. Then it got to a point where everything was hip hop or the rap aesthetic. Everything had to be that. Your pop singers were doing it. DJ Premier is doing Christina Aguilera tracks. Rockwilder is up there remixing and doing tracks for pop stars. Neptunes and Timberland are doing Justin Timberlake and Britney
Right.
tracks. I mean, you got everybody got rappers popping up all over top of everything. You got people learning to rap that never knew how to rap before. Like you saw
Long
on the show, Jelly Roll, biggest country star going right now, talked about his first thing was
came
not being from Memphis. He wasn't talking about 3-6 Mafia. He was talking about Rump Shaker was his first cassette, and he
See?
drove his family nuts with it.
See,
This is a boy in Memphis, influenced by people from Virginia.
Virginia.
You know what I'm saying? This is huge.
Yeah.
And you have to understand it is shaped for legitimately. We're not gonna go where it did it for us because we are of that urban clientele. It hit us from the beginning. But
Right.
as far as the grand scale of things, it started hitting late 80s, went nuts all through the 90s, through the 2000s, the 2010s, and it's just now starting to kind of like, okay, where's it going now? To where it's whatever. But it literally shaped everything. It changed the way, we'll just say, if you want to look at in the 80s where it was house and electronic music,
Mhm.
and that was the thing, they had rappers in it because they realized that was where it's going. The biggest stuff, you know what I'm saying? CNC Music Factory had a rapper in it. Snap had a rapper in it. All these
Mhm.
cats and stuff, it's like, oh no, it was dance music. Dance music was purposely putting rappers in it because it was like, you know what, rap is where it's at, man. That's where it's going on. Hip hop is where it is, even when it
Oh,
didn't
dude.
sound like hip hop.
Yes,
So it's
sir.
like you have to put some respect on our names. There was never the allowance of a hip hop takeover show on the Grammys, even though everything about the Grammys was synonymous with what was going on in hip hop. Y'all were literally pointing at people that had nothing to do with the culture to say you were pointing at whack ass one hit wonders just to not give a hip hopper a Grammy. Like you said,
Right on.
the snubs of 50, the snubs of oh Lord, the J snubs that happen at times. The you brought up a real valid one that I'm trying to come back to. We said the Kendrick snub, and even Macklemore had to say this is some bullshit.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? For you had numerous albums of the year. It's just like, what album move more heads than this? You
But
got
that's like I said, man. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, man. It's just one of those things. Like you said, you did the actual background check and said, like, hey, man, we're not even technically at the 50 if you're gonna do hip hop. I just hope that
if you're going
yeah,
for rap.
if y'all going for rap, but we definitely need to do our own thing. And please, all those who tune in to us, get down in the comments, let us know what y'all think about, this subject matter. And if we, said something out of pocket, let us know. And, correct us if we're wrong and, give us some suggestions.
I do want to holler at my man Remnant because he did say, "Oh man, Revolt could have done it big." Man, the stink on Diddy ain't nobody going near that
Not
though.
now. Not
The-
now.
Ain't nobody going near that.
Not now.
I applaud you. You are right. That would have been one of the
Would have
networks
been.
for it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Not now.
the stink on Diddy ain't nobody going near that.
Yeah, and to be continued. We're gonna continue this conversation and definitely stay on it. And some point, just do a real deep dive into it fully. On pretty much we could do a whole nother episode on just who didn't show up and why. But I think we hit the major points on this one with Hammer and KRS One, who eloquently stated their points. So.
We apologize for the internet and
Always,
and the fact that
always.
we couldn't get those videos out here on for y'all.
All
We're
right.
we're a work in progress. We will try and keep building it up, but we thank y'all for watching. We thank you for bringing us back. Twice a week, every week. We
Yes,
got
sir.
the whole Schwebel Room crew. 3 p.m. D coming to y'all every week. Deeper dives and Dialogue Unlimited.
Yes, sir.
We just want to give a shout out to the whole crew. We want to thank all of y'all for subscribing, for watching. Continue to watch, continue to comment, like, please share. And we'll be back at y'all on Tuesday. We holla at you. Thank you, Eddie P.
Yes, sir. Thanks, fam.
Holla.
Peace.
Peace.